Hey everybody, Mike Rooney here from Mid by Real Estate. I wanted to do a few of these little videos, and the first one can be a bit of a heated topic, right? So brace yourself for this. Off market. This actually caused a bit of an argument amongst some friends of mine just recently. But I think it's a really interesting topic, and I'm open to consider all sides. But let's have a conversation about it. The first thing about what is off market, or as I like to call it, off portal, right? Off market is the more common term. It refers to trying to sell a property and not sticking it on realestate.com.au and not sticking it on domain, right? Now, why would you do that? Most common reason someone would do that is because of the marketing cost and expense of sticking your property on realestate.com.au and domain, right? For a premier listing, which is the top tier listing in Brisbane, Northside, in this area near my agency, the cost to stick an ad on realestate.com.au is around about $2,000, depending on the suburb, right? $2,000, that's one ad, right? And that all that really does is it gives you a slightly larger photo in the preview screen, and it pushes you up in the list. But the reality in this current marketplace is pushing you up on a list is irrelevant, right? They're not spending months on the market, right? Property is going to contract quite quickly. So if you stick it on realestate.com.au, there's a very good chance you're going to be under contract in this current market right now, that you're probably going to be under contract within 2 weeks, right? 1 to 2 opens. That's typical time frame right now. Right, it's great for sellers. Now, when we're talking about realestate.com.au, and domain works the same. Domain platinum listing is around about $700, $800 in that range, so it's cheaper than realestate.com.au. The reason it's cheaper is there is a lot of this argy-bargy between realestate.com.au and domain about who has the more active users. Certainly as an agent, or as agents, we all know, and it's frustrating, to be honest, the bulk of inquiries do come through realestate.com.au. So you can change this, right, as the marketplace. Use domain. I'm not trying to spook domain and not trying to hate on realestate.com.au. I'm just saying let's keep a level playing field. A lot of people who use the domain app say to me, actually the app is really good. You can actually take a map and you can actually draw a line around where you want to live, and it'll show you every listing within that area. Another really cool feature on domain is actually you can pick a school that you want to be within catchment, and domain will actually show you catchment zones. So it'll show you listings within the catchment for a specific school. That's really cool, and I know that affects a lot of people. Anyway, I'm not trying to... That's a whole other thing about realestate.com.au and domain. I'm just saying use both, right? Don't just look at realestate.com.au, look at realestate.com.au and look at domain. Look at both of them equally. Let's keep an even playing field, and hopefully we can get a bit more competition and get the pricing of realestate.com.au to get some downward pressure, right? A bit more competition will help. So this is relevant when we're talking about these costs for these websites, and we start talking about off market, right? Or off portal, as I like to say. It comes down to the cost, right? If I've got to spend, let's say, $2,000 on realestate.com.au, $700-800 on domain, you might say, well, why don't we just have a lower listing, right? At the moment, if it's selling quickly, do we need a premier or a platinum listing? The unfortunate reality of most agencies is they're under contractual agreement that they can only sell premier and platinum, right? And as a result of an agency signing an agreement or a subscription level with realestate.com.au or domain as what's called a premier all account or a platinum all account, as an agency we get a discount, right? And that discount, if it wasn't for that premier all discount on realestate.com.au, that $2,000 would be probably closer to $3,500-4,000, right? So that puts a lot of pressure onto an agency to sign up to these contracts, which lock them in to being a premier all. It means they have no choice, right? Every single listing must be a premier. Usually, depending on the individual contract of the agency, you get a downgrade, what's called a downgrade, or a few downgrades a month, right? What that means is that you have the capacity, let's say 1 in every 10 listings, you can for every 10 you do at a premier level, you can downgrade one level, right, from a platinum to from premier to a feature, or from a feature to a highlight, whatever. So that downgrade. Now, that's obviously very limited for an agency, and the reality is that we can't just go out and say, we'll give everyone a lower level of advertising. Unless we sign up for what's called a standard all account. Right, I made the decision in this current market. I'm actually on a standard all contract. That means that I can actually offer a standard listing to someone, right? And that standard listing, I get, nearly a dozen free listings a month. I can stick them onto realestate.com.au and domain at no charge. The negative impact for an agency in also doing that is my own branding is really reduced, right? I don't have my logo really big all over the photos. I don't have the green or the blue or the whatever color bar across the top with my agency's name, big bold, all over on the search thing. I don't get all that by offering a standard. So that's also very motivating for an agency to be on that premier level, that top level, because they get all that agency branding and agent level branding as well. And another thing as well, which I think is relevant for these upgrade things, because I think it's a really technical but I think interesting topic to talk about. When an agent upgrades a listing to a premier listing on realestate.com.au, it also upgrades the sold as well, right? So if someone like yourself is trying to research agents and they go to realestate.com.au and they look in the sold, who's selling the most in an area, it's not really actually going to show you who sold the most in that area. It's going to show you who sold the most platinum or premier listings, because they're all pushed to the top, right? And that's, again, very motivating for an agent to want to sell you an upgrade. And we haven't got any of that stuff. We're just doing standards at the moment. And that doesn't mean I'm against Premier. I'm just saying let's use a Premier when it is time for a Premier in a highly competitive environment where the buyers are actively fighting over each other to secure property. We don't need to upgrade that ad, right? So we can do a standard. So the relevance of all this stuff when we're talking about a off-market sale, if an agency is locked into this contract that says they have to upgrade everything with a $2,000 upgrade, and a prospective seller, a vendor, comes and speaks to that agent or that agency and says, I don't believe we need that right now. I don't think we need $2,000 worth of marketing, or $3,000 if we include, domain and realestate.com.au. Well, what's an agent going to do, right? Pay for it themselves? They could do, but they probably won't. It's just the reality of the market of agents. They're probably not going to pay that themselves, and the agency's not going to pay it. So the alternative that they fall back onto is saying, well, let's sell it off market. There's enough buyers. We've got buyers in our database. Well, let's sell it to the database, right? It's great. You don't have to pay the money for marketing. However, right, let's say, and every agency, this thing, let me just cut through, and I apologize for my swearing, but there's another way to say this. I'm going to tell you about some bullshit. Database, right? Every agency has a database, and they're good, right? I've got a great database. I keep it very clean, very, very clean. If someone's not interested, my system will automatically remove them out of the notifications for a property. So the buyer alerts that go out on new listings are really good and really active. But am I saying that makes me a genius? That sets me above the rest of the agents out there? Hell no. You know what that makes me? The same. Exactly the same. I mean, my database is particularly clean, and there's, I'm not saying anything about someone who's been around the industry for a really long time. Some agencies are using older technology, they don't have the alerts, whatever. Okay, that stuff's great, and yeah, it's definitely a benefit. But is that going to make a huge difference to your sale of your property right now? No. We've got databases, and you know what? They're probably all the same people in all the same databases. So, in my opinion, and this is obviously all my opinion here, and you'll take from it what you will, you're going with one agent over a different agent because of a database? What a load of bollocks. It's not gonna make or break or change anything, right? So what it comes down to is, yes, we're going to push this out to the database. We're not going to advertise it on realestate.com.au. We're not going to stick it on domain. But you know what our database is? Our database is people who are trying to buy before. Right? How many people are those people trying to buy before have already bought? And maybe they're under contract, or they, whatever, right? that doesn't necessarily highlight who the most active, the strongest buyer is right now for your individual property. You know how you find that buyer? You stick it on the portal and you stick it everywhere that buyer might see it, right? More buyers to you means a higher potential sale price. It is just the reality. It's the reality of a competitive environment that if I say you're trying to buy a property off me and say, hey, I've got this property, no one else has seen it yet. Do you want to come and have a look? How motivating is that for you as a buyer? But as a seller, how motivating is that? If I say, well, I'm not going to show anyone except this one person, I'm going to take them through and show them your property so they can make an offer. Sounds great on the surface, but dig a little bit deeper. There could be someone that you haven't spoken to that hasn't seen the property yet who would love it. They would fall in love and pay amazing money, right? And they've got the finances sitting there. And we never spoke to them because we didn't stick it on the realestate.com.au or the domain, right? So what I'm saying is you need to understand why, the motives. I'm giving you a background insight into how real estate works, what motivates an agent. I'm probably going to get a bit of hate from other agents and agencies over this, but I challenge them on, am I lying? I'm being truthful. It's 100% what's going on. I'm just exposing it. And it's up to, if you are a prospective seller, it's up to you to make an educated decision about what's right for you. There are times, and I have sold property off market and it's worked out great a few times. And the specific reasons we would do that, it's not a blanket, everyone should sell off market right now because there's no point in paying marketing. What I'm saying is let's market the property everywhere. The problem is we don't want to pay for upgraded marketing at the moment. We don't need to do that. So let's not do that. Let's do a standard, right? That's enough right now, and it's actually not going to cost you anything. But what that does do is it puts your property in front of as many buyers as possible, and it creates that competitive environment. Someone knows that they're going to have to make an offer that's competitive with people they don't know and people that the agent doesn't necessarily know yet, right? And if we do that, all this database stuff also becomes irrelevant, right? The database is talking about who we've spoken to or whatever, or who's inquired or whatever, and that stuff's relevant, but I can tell you it's far more relevant in a quiet market than it is in a really hot market like it is right now. So one last thing I want to say is, where's the market going? Because, you know, if you've made it this far, then this will be the reward to you, in my opinion. Where is the market going? Well, I wish I had a crystal ball, is the truth. But there is some insights that we've got, right? With a couple of balanced sides that we have to look at both sides. And then from that, hopefully you can make your own prediction about what you think is going to happen. The first thing is statistics. Inquiry is still very strong. There's a little bit of an easing, but that could just be the time of year, right? People are getting ready for Christmas. Real estate kind of shuts down between Christmas and New Year's. All the conveyances go away, building and pest inspectors go away, and most agents use that time to have a break. Certainly no, I need a break. It's been a huge year. So it all just so nothing really is going to happen between that period, and so now things are starting to quieten down, and agents are preparing property for launch in January. Right, that's what's happening. Most of the place out there is kind of doing that. So that easing, that quietening, could just be the reality of the time of year. The other thing that's recently happened is we've had a few weekends in a row now. We've had really, really high auction rates Australia-wide. Right, that could be a couple of things. It could be that sellers are making a decision that they want to sell their property via auction, right? We've had 5,500 auctions Australia-wide, and then I think last week was about 5,000 auctions Australia-wide. It's pretty big numbers, especially how close we are to Christmas. So it could just be more sellers are putting their property to auction. In Brisbane here, we're not particularly strong necessarily. It's not the normal method of sale. I mean, there's plenty of auctions around, but not in a volume, you know, not a high percentage rate of auctions in Brisbane traditionally. So it could just be of the sales that are coming in, more are going to auction. It's probably, you know, partly the case. But it could also be that sellers are currently looking at the market saying it could be easing. And it could just be that we're saying, well, let's, you know, get it under contract now before we don't know what's going to happen in the new year. So some positives and negatives about what might happen in the new year. Borders opening up, right? This is a big deal. All my agents who are friends down in Melbourne are saying the same thing. They're saying there's a lot of people down in Melbourne, as just one example, coming to Brisbane and that's great. Melburnians, we welcome you. Just, don't bring the virus with you. We love it up here. But you're welcome. So that migration, right? It's going to bring people here. It's going to bring people wanting to secure property, both in rentals and in sales, right? That's going to drive things. It might drive that price, that push onwards. But as we start to see, most of Australia's vaccinated now, and I don't want to get into all of that stuff. I'm going to stay well away from all that. But the reality is, with a vaccinated population, borders are opening up, not just state by state, but inevitably in the near future, international borders will start to open up too. It's just a fact, right? It's coming, right? We all miss it, I know. I've got family in New Zealand, and I can't wait to go back and see my family over there, and hopefully, take the kids to the snow, all that sort of stuff. I've been dreaming of it for 2 years, hasn't happened. Next year's my year. You watch. Somehow I'm going to make that happen. Anyway, my relevance of real estate and international borders opening up. At the moment, people are thinking micro, right? They're thinking, well, we don't want to live necessarily. I'm not saying Melbourne's a bad place to live. It's a lovely place. It's got the best coffee in Australia, except for a couple of cafes up here. Melbourne's a great place, but people are fed up. They're fed up with the lockdowns. They're fed up with things. They just want to change, right? And coming to Brisbane's a great thing. That sea change, right? Come up to the Sunshine State, live in a warmer climate, all those things. But what I'm saying here is that there is a broadening of their options, right? If they can go internationally, well, yeah, okay, well, let's go to Brisbane. That's great. It's lovely and sunny up there. Suddenly we get other options, right? Let's go to Canada. Let's go to America. Let's go to England. Let's go to Europe. Let's go to New Zealand, right? A lot of people, like myself, I just want to go back to see my family, right? How is that international availability of travel going to impact real estate? Well, there's a good chance that people are saying right now we have to go to Brisbane because Brisbane's not Melbourne, or Brisbane's, we're fed up with Sydney, or whatever it is, right? We're going to go up to the Sunshine, State, have that sunny, hot climate, whatever. But suddenly they might say, well, let's go to New Zealand, let's go to Canada, let's go to America, right? How is that going to impact real estate? I don't know. Now, the next thing that people are talking about is, and good on you for hanging in there. I hope this is of value. Let me know. If you got this far, let me know. The last thing I think is on people's minds is the Olympics. The games are coming, all right? And how is that going to impact property prices? I know I've got a lot of landlords are saying we're not selling. I've got vendors are saying we're not selling because we think the games are going to come and that's going to cause a real estate explosion. And it may do. Right, but if we have a look at what happened at Homebush, is a great example. I've had a look at this with some great interest and spoken with some of my friends down there who are agents through that period and give me some insight. How was Sydney impacted by them having the games? Prices did go up, right? But there is some discussion around, was that just an alarm, with CPI? Is that just what property prices would have gone up regardless of the games? And it seems to be the case. So how is these games coming to Brisbane going to impact property prices? I don't know, right? People come here, they spend their money. It's great for tourism. It's great for local businesses who are going to make money out of those people coming to a wonderful state and a wonderful city and surrounding cities and spend their money. Do those people want to come here and buy real estate and live here forever? I don't know. We're just going to have to see. I hope there's some interesting thoughts there. I can't tell you what it's going to do. If I could do that, I would be a millionaire, and you or we'd be too, right? But that's just not how it works. We have to make our own decisions. So I hope this is of some value. I'm going to try and do these videos a bit more often. Let me know if you made it to the end. Please say so. If this was of value, make sure you comment down below. If you want some other topics, definitely comment what those topics should be. I think you've seen my style through this video. I'm not trying to, be disruptive. That's certainly not my intention here. But I'm trying to be honest and open about what happens behind the scenes, because I think that can help you make an educated decision about what's right for you in this situation. Now, I'm not saying, don't do a premiere. Premiere is amazing, right? And every opportunity where you have the opportunity to present your property as beautifully and in the best possible light that you possibly can, you should. Right? It's an absolute fact, you should. So if you can get a premiere, you should do that. Is that going to help you? It might do, right? Is it going to be the deal maker or deal breaker to have a Premier upgrade on realestate.com.au right now? Probably not. Is it going to make the little bit of difference? Maybe, I don't know. But if you can afford it, you should do it. That's the truth. If you can't afford it, or if money's crunching, and you're trying to make a decision about the best outcome, and you're worried about spending a few $1,000s on marketing, we can do that there. I hope it's of help. Thanks.